Welcome back to K24 Alpha Jury. This is the Hangout Friday, and right about now we are going to be having a discussion on Kenya international film and TV market. Joining me in this conversation is Alex Muller from the Kenya Film Commission, who is the marketing director, and Renee Dennis from the French Embassy. Karibuni sana to K24 Alpha Jury.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
I'm so excited to be having this discussion with you because I am an actress, and you know, who better really to ask all these questions that we have and we've been asking ourselves and even to you from the Kenya Film Commission. We do understand that right now you have two events, which is the Kalasha Films Award, which was
correct.
It was last year.
In fact, the novelty, Sarah, is that now the Kalasha International is the brand on the top.
Exactly.
And now we have two separate events, the Kalasha International TV and Film Festival and Awards that took place last December.
Okay.
And now the Kalasha International TV and Film Market, which is going to happen next week from 27th to 29th of March. So now the market is entirely alone by itself, and this is the first of its kind happening in East Africa.
In Kenya,
yeah.
Which is really good. What is your mission? What is your vision?
Well, through this event, we want to show to the public authorities and decision makers that content, program content, films, and audiovisual sector, cinematographic sectors are part of an industry. Really, we are not talking about guys making fun with making their films in the corner of the room. No, this is an industry, and programs have a value. I mean, when you have a good feature film, a good documentary, you can really sell it. Broadcasting houses need to buy programs to feed their airing time. So this is a business. And
also maybe what I can say is that just besides that, the main vision is actually to create an industry whereby people are actually going to be trading. What we want to do is to demystify this fact that people have always thought about the film industry as something that is just entertainment.
Exactly, yes.
We want to make it an area where people can know, to commercialize it actually, to get people to be able to trade, exchange goods and products in terms of the programs that they actually produce.
Okay, and speaking of which, you know, one of the biggest issues that has constantly just come up with the production houses, with the producers, is that we don't have a better or a good distribution channel, especially here in Kenya. Well, and we have the film industry in Tanzania, which was really very young a few years ago, and Kenya was booming. But right now, we do have, like the Tanzanian film industry has taken over the East African market. What is the Kenya Film Commission doing just to make sure that you are giving Kenyan film producers a very good channel to distribute the content?
Well, what we've actually done is we've established the Kalasha International TV and Film Market. And the reason why we have established this is because we realized that most Kenyans who are actually in the film and TV industry did not know where to take their content. You'll find that most of the time they'll actually go to the other international markets to be able to get distributors there. So in this particular forum, what we've done is that we've come up with a session where we'll be discussing about marketing and distribution.
Exactly.
Then we also have the exhibition area. And this exhibition area, it's not whereby people just come and showcase their physical products. This is actually a market where people are supposed to meet content buyers, content sellers, and there'll be that kind of trading. And that's why we're using the tagline, discover, connect, and trade.
Okay, so it's all about networking, right, Renee?
Yeah, that's right. And all the major broadcasting houses are going to be there. They will exhibit. Many producers are coming from East Africa, Kenya, but also internationally. We have special guests. Alongside of the market, we are going to run many conferences, workshops, pitching sessions, in order to make the whole event really a major one.
Okay.
And,
speaking of
and distribution companies, to answer your question, we are going to be there.
Exactly.
Some of them that are specialized in African content are going to be there. There will be a special focus put on animation sector, which definitely is a very, very interesting sector, and it needs to be developed. Only South Africa today has developed this sector of animation.
All right.
Because the moment there will be some African content in animation, it's going to be a big, big hit. Look what happened to the feature film with Nollywood. They are now, it's such a powerful industry, you know, that Nollywood is making almost $1 billion a year.
It's the second biggest right now.
By selling their content to the whole of Africa. So the moment there will be animation content, also it's going to be a big market. So we want to push also this special sector by developing skills and So there will be some French producers, renowned ones, that are going to run some workshops. Yeah, a very rich event happening next week for all professionals.
So far, how many East African countries should we expect to be part of the event?
When we are talking about the East African countries, expect all the five East African countries. Yes, that is Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, and we've gone far. We also have South Africa who are coming on board, and we've also gone beyond the African international borders. So we expect the French people to be here. We expect people from UK. We have some from Canada. We have a great film production from
Holland, Austria,
Argentina.
Australia.
So it's really huge.
So this is actually very, very big. Yeah.
It's big because it's the only one within the East and Central Africa. There's no any other big kind of market like this one that is now being established in Kenya.
Okay.
And again, this is the first of its kind. So what we hope is that it will grow year after year.
Exactly.
You know, a similar event in France is called the MIPCOM. It's happening in the south of France in Cannes every year. And the last MIPCOM in October, that took place in October 2017, attracted 13,500 participants.
Oh, wow.
So that's from all over the world, the
number.
TV came.
Yes.
This is, you know, how you have the major companies, Fox, Warner, and they sign agreement, they sign co-production, so that's what we want, you know.
Okay,
yeah.
And I do understand that in order for you to participate and to pitch, you have to, like for foreigners, have to pay $100.
Correct.
For East African residents, it's 500 shillings?
500 Kenyan
and
shillings.
For the members of the guild, you have to pay 200.
Yes, for the early birds.
Okay, now someone will ask, why do I have to pay that amount of money to pitch my idea?
No, but look at also what we are doing when it comes to the pitching aspect. First and foremost, we want people who are actually very serious in the industry to come into play. We don't want people who are just coming to like try and test us. So what we've agreed to do is we are charging a very minimal fee. Remember, there's also a lot of cost that has actually gone into the organization of the event. And during this pitching session, one thing I can actually say, and we are proud about it, is that this time around we're actually going to give prize money. We are giving for TV 500,000 Kenyan shillings, for short film and feature film category we are giving 500,000 Kenyan shillings, and for the animation.
Yeah, we have a wonderful part. For animation pitching, we are going to offer the winner a completely offered trip to go to the MIFA in Annecy, MIFA, which is an international festival and market happening in Annecy, a city in France, every year in June. This is probably the biggest animation market event happening in Europe. So the winner will have access to this major event. All expenses will be covered, so that's a very important prize.
And
so I think you can afford only 500 shillings with such a
exactly, because I've seen, Kenyans, we always like to complain, and, I'm sure, like you have seen people on social media asking, like, why do I have to pay 500 shillings for me to pitch my idea? How are you nurturing the talent in this country if we have to pay that amount of money?
That's a good question. You see, Rene, here in Kenya, it's very interesting, because when people go for some of these entertainment clubs, people are ready to pay 1,000 Kenyan shillings to buy a beer for 200.
Kenyan shillings,
to buy a beer for 200, which doesn't make any sense. So if you're coming to a platform whereby you're going to get a lot of business and you're going to get a lot of value, I don't see why you should actually complain about 500 Kenyan shillings. That's minimal. 500 Kenyan shillings for you to sign a deal of 2, 3 million, 4 million. For me, that's more value.
Yeah, because by aside of the pitching, by paying 500, you have access to the market. The pitching will be a part of it, but these people who come for pitching, they will also, of course, use their time to meet all the companies that we have almost 70 booths with exhibitors, and we are expecting to have between 400 to 500 participants in total.
And the other good thing is that once you pay that money, you can access the entire database of the people who are there. So that means you'll have follow-ups in terms of networking. You can be able to make follow-ups. Post the market, you can be able to reach out to the people who you think you can be able to trade with. So it's something that has got a lot of value for money.
Okay, all right. And it's really amazing to see the French embassy being part of this. Is the Kenyan government doing anything? Have you collaborated in any way with the government?
Well, we are the Kenyan government. The Kenya Film Commission is a state corporation, and state corporations are an arm of the government. So that means the Kenyan government is very keen to grow the market. Yes, and we thank a lot our sponsors and our partner, the French embassy, with France 24, and other media houses which have actually come on board to support this.
Yeah. So the Ministry of Arts, of Sports, Arts and Culture is not part of this in any way?
Sports
no,
and heritage.
It is our
heritage, right?
Sports and heritage.
Are they part of this?
It is our parent ministry. We are hosted under the Ministry of Sports and Heritage.
Okay.
So they've actually given us the money. The money that we have, because we don't raise any money, we are 100% funded by the Exchequer. So actually it's the ministry who have funded us, and we are working with them very closely.
All right.
Yeah.
And I do understand, I was watching the press conference that was held yesterday, or the day before yesterday. It was yesterday. And you have approached more than 7 counties so far to partner
there is a side event.
Yes, part of the side events will be having a county conference whereby we want to impress on them and tell them the value of the film and TV industry and what they can actually be able to do. We want to talk things to do with policy. How best can we be able to bring a one-stop shop in terms of, for example, what does Malindi charge when you go there to do a film or a production? How much does Narok County charge? So those are some of the things that we want to see if we can be able to harmonize and make it easy for people to do production of content. So in terms of participation, we've approached all of them, and we're actually urging them to be able to come so that at least we can have that kind of discussion whereby at least we can see how best to improve the industry from a county level point of view.
And also just another question to you, Renee. Why choose Kenya? Why did the French embassy choose Kenya, not Tanzania, not Uganda, not any other country in East Africa?
My position is audiovisual attaché for East Africa. Yes. I'm covering 10 countries, yes. All the neighboring countries of Kenya, and so being based, at the French embassy in Kenya, I come from the private sector. This is my first position in the diplomatic field, and before that I've been working for more than 35 years in television and film production.
Yes.
So having this experience, really I'm more than happy to really share and push for many big events to happen. You know, last year we partner at the French embassy with KFCB to run the IFC Kenya 2017. That was a major event as well, taking place at the Safari Park. The idea was really to show, through a French delegation that was invited, to show how we structure the whole industry by having the CNC, the National Center of Cinematography, supporting the whole industry through various tax. The CNC is collecting money, and they redistribute this money to the private independent producers to help them making new productions. So, and now we have this market. So we tried really to come all the time with new events, new ideas, and because, you know, the creative industries for French people are really important. And talking about the name of the ministry, which is now Sports and Heritage. Yes. That's a shame that the name culture has been erased from the title. Culture is important. Creative industry can bring a lot. Very important. I don't have all the figures in my head, but you know, many countries are, even in France, you know, by exporting our program, by selling them. I think in 2016, if I'm right, I think it's something like more than 300 million euros that were the income that came from these sales. You look at a series like A Game of Thrones, produced by American people. You know how many countries in the world broadcast it? 170 countries broadcast this series. Yes. Can you realize how much money you make?
Yes, so it's all about the distribution, number one, and then again the funding.
There is a lack of distribution. Yes. You need more distribution companies because those guys, this is really a special work. You know, you give them you sign a contract, you give them exclusivity of your program, they put that in a catalog, and they run all the markets in the world to sell, and they take a 30% of course, of tax to fund their business, but they sell, and this is how you can really make an important, for a producer, this is a key. So that's also something that we are going to talk during the Kalasha. This is a major issue, you're right, Sarah.
And Rene, maybe it will be moral for us to just stick on the main distributors without mentioning the role of the broadcasters.
Exactly, yes.
We really want to see the broadcasters coming in strong, also on the aspect of distribution, to support the independent producers so that at least you can be able to acquire the content.
Exactly.
So we'll also be having a conference and a workshop which will actually look into this particular aspect. And what we want to see is how can the broadcasters, and this one I'm actually addressing the Kenyan broadcasters, how can they come into play to be able to help our independent film and TV content producers?
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we ask this question to the broadcasters, I'm going to ask this question to you. And one of the biggest issues that we have in the Kenyan film industry is funding, because we have very talented minds in this country.
Right.
But like, look at What Water, by the way. It's such an incredible film.
Yeah, it's almost got the Oscar in
But
Hollywood.
we don't have funding. Last year, I attended a forum where the Kenya Film Commission was on board, and MultiChoice. And MultiChoice actually did give 500 million to the production houses and to support content. I don't know whether there's anything that the Kenya Film Commission is doing, especially to the indie producers, to just help them in funding and pushing their content.
Okay, let me first thank MultiChoice for the great work that they're actually doing for the industry, despite the fact that it's also to their own benefit because they get the content. As a commission, yes, we are doing quite a lot in terms of helping independent producers to access financing.
Exactly.
One, by signing things like co-production agreements with countries like France, South Africa, and many others, that actually enables our producers to be able to access financing in those foreign markets. There's an agreement which actually clearly states how people can be able to access that financing. But coming back home, what are we actually doing? We are talking to the banking sector, and we are trying to tell them that content production is something that creates revenue, and it should not be seen like a high-risk area that people should not be able to get financing. They are always told to give some collateral. This kind of collateral is whereby we also bring in now the insurance firm, whereby at least once you've been able to come up with your script, it has been looked, it's something that is marketable, you've come up with your demo, you can go to the bank, and if you have a completion guarantee kind of security or a distribution guarantee which might come from the broadcasting houses, then the financiers are able to give you that kind of money. When you look at our mandate, what we've actually been given, one of the key mandates is actually to form a film fund, and we're actually working very close with the National Treasury to see that come into fruition, because what we want to do with that film fund is to be able to give our filmmakers access to that money to be able to finance their content production. We're also working with other parastatals within other ministries like the Youth Enterprise Fund, who have a lot of money, and we want to see how best to come up with a very good structure to be able to assist our producers to dip into that fund.
All right.
Yeah, if I may add something, it's also talking about the broadcasting houses. Yes, it's important that because all those, when we talk about content, what is the final finality for those content to be heard? So broadcasting houses have interest to have should be playing the game differently. They should be really, well, you know, in the whole of Europe, I've been working in television a lot, and the producers, when they send you a proposal for a documentary, a feature film, we have special people within every TV channel. They could be private or public one. And you have people like commissioners or head of feature department, head of documentary department. They receive those proposals, they read them, and when they find that there is something that really could be interesting, because they know who they are targeting, they know, of course, who is the audience watching their channel. So they are the best one to select the project and say, okay, this program is a good one. I don't want this program to go to my competitors. I want this film to be for us. So then they call the producer and say, okay, we receive your proposal, we liked it, we would like to secure the broadcasting rights, and we put money for that. And then the whole process will be a partnership between the private producer and a broadcasting house to really accompany, the broadcaster will accompany the whole process. He has paid for broadcasting, for exclusive rights. Now he knows that the program is going to be dedicated to him, exclusively for him. He will be invited during the editing, the rough editing, could say, no, this part might be a little bit too hard for our audience. You know, this is a partnership. And then when the program is totally completed, then he plays the role of pushing the program, advertising, making a lot of promotion, and taking all the money from advertising, from sponsoring. But he has been helping the program at the very, very beginning. That should be the best way to work. You know, this is, all those private production companies, they work for broadcasters.
Exactly,
those programs, it's not to please themselves. No, they want those programs to be seen by a majority of people. And they will be seen through TV sets and through broadcasting houses. So let's have broadcasters and producers work together.
Yes.
It's time to really set up a strong partnership.
Exactly.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that all what Rene has said, it will be featured in the market.
Yeah.
This market will offer also an aspect of financing for film productions. And that's why we're actually encouraging the filmmakers, people in the financing industry, commissioning editors within the broadcasting houses, please turn up. Come for this session. It will be a very good session because there, if you have ideas, you can get your financing. We'll be talking also on the models of financing that can actually be established within the country, if there are some which are actually missing. So those are things that we'll actually be exploring. So the market will actually offer that.
All right. And I just want us to talk about something that the president had proposed when he came to power. And this was a 60-40 content.
Quotas, yeah,
exactly.
the CAK, yeah.
Which I don't think it has been implemented. I would like to know what the commission... It is?
It is. It's actually something that is going on. What has happened is that people have not understood how it's actually operating.
Yes.
Yeah? If you are new, for example, a new broadcasting house, what CAK has done is that they're not going to set it for you at 60%.
Right.
You start gradually.
Exactly.
So as K24 continues growing and where it has reached, maybe now you're already on 40, 45. So you keep on increasing the target so that at least you can achieve the 60%. So that is something which is being implemented.
Do we have a time frame for this? Because it's been almost, you know, this was 2013. It's now 2018,
remember,
5 years down the line.
Yeah, remember when it started, it was 40%.
Okay.
And when most broadcasting houses got to that threshold of 40%, it was increased to 60%. And me, I would be even happy if it was told to be about 90%.
Exactly.
10% should actually be foreign content. Because for me, I don't believe why we should stick so much on this thing called a capital flight. Capital flight is whereby you're actually buying content from abroad, you're supporting those people to be in employment. How about our own Kenyans? We should actually be promoting our own local productions, local programming, so that at least we can be able to absorb the huge number of filmmakers who are out there, the youth, people within the industry. We want to see people growing. We want to build our own stars. Why would we have children talking about Oga back at home? they should talk about our own language and our own culture.
It's very sad, yeah, because like you go back to the villages, people are getting all these Nigerian accents, and I wish we could embrace, you know, our very own content.
That's very good. No, of course, that's very good to also preserve your own culture.
Exactly.
We also in France have certain rules that oblige all the broadcasting houses to have 20% of local production. Of course, if you don't have that kind of rules, then you may be invaded by foreign content. But at the same time, let's be honest. If you want to export your own content, you have to accept also to broadcast some series that come from foreign countries. So that's you don't. Yeah, if you want to really to produce everything locally, then it's like so
it's a benefit for both
you have
countries.
also TV has to also to offer possibilities to see programs from all over the world. So that's why those markets are set up to definitely bring documentaries and show you people in Kenya what is the way of living in Europe, in United States, etc. So it's important. But coming back to this quota, I like this idea, but at the same time, let's start by, you see, for example, for youth program, 60% of youth program, which broadcaster today is respecting those quotas? Sincerely, nobody. Why? Because you don't have youth programs. So rather than putting quota, let's start also, especially about animation. So let's start by the first step. The first step is how to help producers to produce animation. And then the broadcasting houses will be able to respect the quota because they will know that some programs exist.
Because we don't have actually much of that in this country. We don't have much of that.
No, no, animation, no.
Okay, all right.
But
I'm sure that
we agree, because of that gap, that is why we've come up with the the Kalasha international TV and film market, so that at least it can help us to bridge that gap. That brings people together. They will be able to have those discussions. They'll be able to buy that content there. All these issues that you're looking and asking, finding them as gaps within the industry, they'll actually be addressed by this market. This is the key tool.
Correct. How to produce more quality content. The moment you have answer to that, then you can really respect the quota. First of all, how to promote and develop and move forward more contents.
Okay, and we have 3 minutes to go. I have 2 questions for you. You have been in the film and TV industry for quite a long time.
Yeah,
how can producers and production houses take advantage of the digital migration, which is something that is very new here? We are still trying to get, you know, the hang of it. How can we take advantage of that?
Well, it's during the Kalasha market next week, we are going to have a focus also on new technology. We will have a new tech pavilion exhibiting some virtual reality, and there will be the people from Black Rhino, from iHub, the bus, you know, the major companies here.
Right.
This, of course, the digital era has brought some very new way of the VOD platform and all that. You have iFlix, and so those are extra possibilities for producers to also
take advantage
advantage. But still, again, the main important is broadcasting your programs through TV. Television is still the main vector, the main. But then those YouTube, etc., those are extra income.
All right.
But you will never definitely reimburse the cost of the whole production through those digital.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. And I want us to talk about the new fees that have been implemented on drones and how they are going to affect the film industry, because, I mean, we all die for right angles, you know, those shots that you can only take via a drone. How is this going to affect the film industry in Kenya, and what is the Kenya Film Commission going to do about it?
Well, we want to engage the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority and other authorities that are actually involved in this. We want to have a candid discussion with them and see if there's some waiver or if we can agree on a certain fee for the filmmakers, not
because
necessarily.
It's too expensive, actually.
Yeah, not necessarily for the other people. The other people might be using them for leisure, entertainment, but for us it's a question of business. We are looking at it from a business point of view, and it's something that we have to continue to use. So that's an engagement that we really want to have with the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority.
Drone is a major tool now for films, for documentaries.
And the good thing is that they are also one of our sponsors for the Kalasha International TV and Film Market.
The irony?
No, there's no irony, because that gives us the opportunity to engage them during the policy roundtable that will be sitting with them. We can start that conversation from there so that at least we advance it. So there's a great opportunity, and we'll discuss with them.
Okay.
We'll discuss with
them. What do we expect after this, after the Kenya TV, after the first ever Kenya TV and film market? What do we expect from this, and what is the way forward?
Well, what we expect during those 3 days, we expect that some major deals will be made, that people will learn from all the side events, as we call them, the conferences, the workshops, the pitching sessions, and that's again, this market has a vocation to develop, to grow year after year, and it will benefit to the whole industry.
Yeah, there's more, because, for example,
people are going to connect. You will extend your private network, and
from the pitching session, whereby at least we'll have given people that prize money. What we expect is that they have to continue creating content. We're not giving them money just to pocket. Even in terms of disbursement, we've got a very clear strategy on how we'll disperse it to be able to get more.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all the time that we had today.
Sorry, just quickly, now I wanted to say that at the same time as the Kalasha, we will have the Nairobi Film Festival, which will be running, offering the premiere of a new film from Likarian Wainena called Supermodo.
Supermodo, yes.
It's going to be premiere in the evening. They have also some films from the FESPACO Film Festival that we have arranged for them with subtitle in English. So it's going to be and there will be the launch of France 24, which is now going to be.
All right, and this is from the 27th to the 29th.
To the 29th at KICC.
So. Okay, thank you so much for joining me in this conversation. It was really quite an honor. Yes, and we shall now take a short commercial break. When we come back, it's time for Interactive. Do not go anywhere.